Oh my goodness. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is going to be for The Boys, Season 2 finale, and I'll be talking about the whole season of The Boys, or the Season 2 of The Boys as a whole as well, but mainly focusing on my thoughts on the season finale and sort of the general idea of the whole season. There's specific episodes, and that's where it's a simultaneous thing here. I simultaneously hate the way The Boys came out this season, and I also love it. I feel like I want all of the episodes splashed across my face like a million cucumbers slapping me across my cheek. I feel like I want that, but I also like the fact, and I wish I was able with time oriented to be able to come out here a little bit more often each week and talk about each episode, because there is something lost with binge watching, with getting into the specifics of each individual episode. And the only reason I say that is because this season of The Boys, I would say each individual episode is excellent. If I'm ranking this season, and everyone has different opinions, different thoughts, different shows affect them in different ways. The Boys affected me really viscerally. I enjoyed every second of it this season. I enjoyed it a lot last year as well, but I feel like this season they even stepped it up a little bit. And I know certain people like certain seasons better than other seasons, so I'm sure there's people that disagree with me here, but I feel like season 2 took what season 1 did and in a way could have made a season that seemed like a disappointment, seemed like a lot of the magic was removed from it. And I think it kind of was set up in that way, in the sense that I think a lot of the magic of the first season, for me anyways, and I'm only speaking for me, is the surprises that came along the way. The fact that you think at moments, at least having never read the comic series, watching it and thinking that I was watching a typical kind of superhero story, a structured kind of thing that's going to go in a similar direction. And then as we see and as we meet and interact with these characters, as we learn them in that first season, as I learn you, character, I'm learning you. Hey, Pete Griffin. I also know that I don't come out here as often, so hopefully there'll be some people. We have one so far. Peter Griffin in the live motherfucking chat. Welcome, Peter Griffin. Bunch of people will be popping in and out of here throughout the afternoon. I've been busy running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get used to and keep up the new place and stuff. So it's been tougher to get out here at normal oriented time. So literally I have rolled out of bed about an hour ago, not quite awake, not quite breakfast yet, haven't smoked anything yet. So I'm officially non-awake. But I didn't want to let another day go by without talking about the season finale and The Boys as a whole, because you know how it goes. Like, every day that goes on, it becomes a little, especially when you're as old as I am, every day it goes on, I forget another thing. So I want to make sure while it's still fresh, because it really excited me this season of The Boys. And I'm kind of in a place, as some people know or don't know, that I'm going through kind of a weird life transition, and I'm not the shiny, happy people that I usually am in most times. And it's been harder for me to sit down and kind of get into a TV show or get into a movie, especially since I've moved and since I'm focused. I don't know if anyone else feels that feeling. Like when you get into a new place, it takes some while. I'm almost like a dog that's getting ready to take a shit. And, it runs around in circles and kind of walks around while it's looking for that spot to shit. And you're like, dude, just shit. It's been tough for me to sit down and shit and watch TV, play video games, relax in the new surroundings until I get everything kind of set where it needs to set. I'm weird like that. So I've been watching a lot more YouTube videos or listening to random podcasts while I'm doing other things, and it's been hard for a TV series to grab me. And then I started watching The Boys Season 2, and it became... this shows how old I am. It becomes must-see TV. And every week I kind of looked forward to seeing how they were going to do it again and how they were going to make the show make me smile. And it does. The show is cutting. The show is deep. The show is non-pretentious, which I fucking love. And, the season finale gave me all the things I want in my life. So I was very happy with it. End of podcast. That's it. Show's good. Turn this shit off and go watch The fucking Boys. But no, I absolutely enjoyed all the points this season. Certain storylines that maybe I wasn't feeling as much were carried through by performances. I'll get a little bit more into spoilers in a second here. I'm just trying to get my initial thoughts. There was one or two storylines where I was like, not too into that, But then certain characters, we'll say the Deep, for instance, that actor who I've known since Gossip Girl, it's amazing to see him in a show like this and see him give a performance like the Deep, which it's subtle and goofy and over the top, but it creates so much comedy in me. And then the character of A-Train kind of had a turnaround to a certain extent this season too, and made me look at him in a different way. Each individual one of the boys had a more character development in this season 2. This is reasons why I think season 2 is better than season 1. I think each individual character had more development. They seemed more like real characters instead of caricatures in some situations. Butcher continues to be one of the most charismatic characters on my television screen ever. Carl Urban, is that his name? I was going to say Keith Urban. He's a different guy. Carl Urban, who I've been mixed in my opinion of his roles, not because of his acting performances. I think he's excellent in the Lord of the Rings movies. I think he does what he can playing Dr. McCoy, but that just snuffs all up in my uppercase because those movies are horseshit. Sorry, people that like those movies. But those movies are kind of horseshit to me. So, and I feel like even if you don't think those movies are horseshit, JJ didn't quite grasp the relationship between Bones and Kirk. So I think he's in sort of like a dead position acting in that role. But Butcher just seems to take every part of his acting ability and put it in 9. Put it in 9,000. Put it in 9. Not 10. Not 11. Turns it up to 11. I'm not awake yet. But I do think that certain roles for certain actors just click. It's like a hand into a glove. And I think he playing that character of Butcher creates a unique character. And I think that's nowhere else. I think in a couple of other characters in the show, you could say, oh, this character is somewhere else, analogous to something else, motherfucker this, motherfucker that. But I think Butcher and Homelander specifically, who I think are the two best characters on the show, I think there's a lot of great characters, especially this season. Some of the new ones that got Stormfront was excellently portrayed, and the button to that, the way that whole storyline concluded, I mean, it may go further in the future, was one of the most satisfying scenes I've seen in a movie or a television show since Office Space. Like, really. Like, the scene that, and I'll get into it in a second, the scene that almost ends this season, one of the biggest scenes, the big climaxy kind of moments of the season. I haven't been like this in a television show in a while. I stood up in my seat and I cheered the television as I watched what was going on. I said, do it! Kick! I want another kick! Kick it again! It was a great end to that storyline. And again, spoilers in a second here. But I think continuously, even in this season 2, and especially in season 1, the two highlight characters are Homelander and Butcher. I think they kill it. Homelander, as much as Homelander could have been a one-note character from last season, and again, this is for me. Some people might have different reactions to all of this. Some of his moments this season, including his final moment of the season, which I know was a thrown away scene from season 1 that they chose to put in there at the end, just frames that character as simultaneously the most dangerous individual and also kind of awkward and someone that somewhere inside you feel like he hasn't had a fair shot at it. And the actor plays it with such precision that he is the most twisted, sick fuck you could possibly imagine. But there's like moments here and there where I'm like, eh. And then they set him up with a parallel this season with someone who's in some ways worse than him, in some ways different. But even a few moments this season, there's a moment where she's talking to a kid and she says something, and the look he gives on her face, it's like when this guy's looking at you like you're too evil, there's a problem going on here. He just turns to her and goes, what the fuck? Like this look on his face. The scariest times for Homelander is when he's being nice, when he's being quiet. Okay. That's okay. Those moments, you're just waiting on the edge of your seat to see how is he gonna drink his milk this time. Spoiler alert. Spoilers. If you want to get out of here. Okay, so final thoughts on the season 2 was really great. Loved it. 10 out of 10 side buttholes, like whatever. I very much enjoyed it, and I enjoyed season 1 as well. And this was one of those shows that I feared going into season 2 that I might not be able to enjoy it quite as much as I enjoyed the first season because of how much surprise went into that first season. And I feel like they made up for it with clever character touches, a funnier narrative of the story, and also raising the stakes to a certain period of time. And I also like all those cheesy developments, like Huey and Starlight's relationship. I think works really well in their dynamic, and I believe in them. And I don't know, a lot of stuff. Really like the season, but for those that don't want to know what happens, spoiler alert. In the most annoying voice ever. Oh wow, the live motherfucking chat is going on right now. Stormfront kind of looked like Anakin a bit. I could see that, or Kylo Ren a little bit. I still haven't seen this show. It's a fun show. I don't want to blow smoke up its ass too much. It's not going to cure polio, but it's a good show. It's, to me, probably, and I know there's a few shows that do similar things. And I haven't seen any of these shows, so if I'm completely talking out my ass, please correct me in the live chat for those of you who have seen these shows. I don't know if they're the same exact kind of shows, but when I've mentioned The Boys, I've had some people say, oh, well, Doom Patrol is amazing too, and I believe The Umbrella Academy is another one. I don't know if they're all generally the same kind of tone or the same kind of idea of a show, but having just specifically watched The Boys, I can only speak to it, not any of its contemporaries that might be trying similar deconstruction of superhero story kind of shit. I think Deadpool's another great example of it. The first Deadpool movie and the second movie as well is probably a good foundation of this kind of thing, but it's definitely breaking open the story structures of those kind of things and putting it on its head and giving you a world that is not unlike something you might see in a RoboCop universe, mixed with the Tick universe of some level. And I guess the Tick is a bad way of saying it, but because I don't want to ruin some of the specifics of the storyline, but in the sense that superheroes are an accepted part of the culture and how that does affect the world in a real way. But it's also done in a very over-the-top comedic, in thread of a better word, like almost like Santa Clarita Diet does with the graphic nature of it. I think in the first part of the first episode, without getting into, I guess this is spoilers. In the first part of the first episode, before you're even into it, someone gets ran into by the Flash character, A-Train, and rips their body apart. And you just see the body spreading like you're seeing a Jaws victim or something like that. So it definitely leans into comedy, action, the superhero genre, if that is a general genre, and then some sort of graphic, and I wouldn't say horror movie, but it doesn't hold back on the graphic nature of what something theoretically would be like. You know, if someone dies, it's almost like an episode of South Park. If someone dies, they shit themselves or something. Like, this show will show you, okay, if a superhero runs into somebody, the body is going to explode like a freaking piñata, and everything's gonna splat everywhere. And it gives you that. It gives you that in 100%. And it gives you that in every specific situation. But just when you think it can't go further, you see Superman use his heat vision and melt somebody. Homelander. Anthony Starr, is that his name? He needs to win some sort of award for this character because he doesn't just play. This character could easily be played as a one-note character. You know, I'm evil Superman, deal with it. And again, I have not read the comics. I don't know how much of this is informed by little subtle quirks he has in the comics. Feel free to, say that in the comment section or in the live motherfucking chat. Just label shit comic spoilers in case people don't want to see it. But I feel like a lot of those are even just in his decision, in the way of which he makes his character choices, creates a weird sense of. I'm trying to think of another villain like this in another movie or a TV show that can, for me anyways, creates, oh my god, this guy is horrifying, and then for a moment you feel for him. With his crocodile tears, or the depthness of which he's lived through, or the challenges of which he's faced. And you can kind of get his perspective in a fucked up way. And I love that. I love villains that aren't so two-dimensional. And I feel like he is incredibly well saturated. You know, he has so much going on there, whether it be his intense urgency to be accepted and that affecting every decision he makes. You know, okay, I just thought of a good analogous character. I would say Gul Dukat from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, if you haven't seen it. And I think Gul is a little bit more evil, obviously, or outwardly evil at times. But he still like feels like he wants to be accepted so much that sometimes he makes choices or will have a moment where you're like, oh, this guy's not that bad of a guy. And then he's drinking What's mickle? Drinking milk from a shapeshifter, you know? Okay, that whole shapeshifter scene, and that's not the final episode, but that whole section, and again, we're in spoilers, when Elizabeth Shue shows up again and he has the shapeshifter feeding him milk from the nipple. It's one of the most well-acted scenes I've ever seen in my life because of how straight the characters play it and how what's his name again? Anthony Starr. Anthony Starr plays it so earnestly, and then the way that the scene cuts and the character and the morph character kind of changes his face back to what he really looks like, and then the reaction that that he has to it, and just a look and the way that scene works together. It's played for comedy, but it also just has such a different touch to it too, where you can feel what he's feeling. And I know I'm like sitting here trying to relate to a freaking sociopathic Superman here, but I do feel like he's able through, especially in this season, less so in the first season, in this season, to show you these human-ish moments where you can kind of feel. But even within that, he's doing something twisted and sick. You know, he's never losing that. He's never too human. The scene this season with the Daredevil character, I don't know if people remember, and again, this is where I'm trying to look back to certain individual points. There's a scene where he's facing off where there's a point where one of the characters, I forget her name, the PR person that kind of takes over for Elizabeth Shue's character, and she has to deal with Homelander, especially for the first part of the season, in a lot of professional situations where he's just not happy with her. And it's very funny. It's done in a very humorous way, but like you're always worrying for this poor woman's life. And she, by the end of the season, is like pulling out her hair and shit. There's one scene where she's bringing a replacement. They're trying to find replacements for the superhero team. And they bring in this character that's very much Daredevil-ish and jumps around, shows he has powers and stuff, you know, shows he can kick some ass. And Homelander comes in and it's like, oh, you're awesome. Oh, wonderful. Welcome to the team. And then he just claps his hands over the guy's ears, just like really hard. So it makes like a really loud noise. And the dude's ears blow up and his head explodes. He's like, you want me to put this guy on my team? Fuck this. We need real superheroes. It's one of those funny, and I don't know if it's intentional, but it's like a tongue-in-cheek Marvel or DC to fuck you Marvel kind of moment, even though I'm not sure if the Boys comic or the storyline is even affected by anything, but just sort of like stepping out of it of like how Superman would handle Daredevil in a moment. And it's like a 2-second scene where he just goes, whoosh, this guy, and he turns to her, like, this guy? You're picking this guy for the team? Look what I just did to him. He's fucking sucks. Which I thought was well done. I think the Black Noir stuff worked well too. You got a little bit more of him and his tree nut allergy and all of that. I thought was done too. I think Stormfront is getting a lot of the headlines for being awesome this season, and I think she's great. She is great. But I also want to mention Annie, and I want to mention Annie Starlight. That actress, again, a character, and I mentioned this on one of these other podcasts I did slightly about the boys. I watched Heroes, and I know how bad it can get. Guys, hi everybody, this is Phil the Issues Guy, and I know how bad television shows can get. I finished Heroes. But Heroes is really bad, okay? But at times good. The first season of Heroes, I'd argue, is good TV. And then everything else sort of, is taking water out of the foundation that is, good Heroes, is like dripping out till the end when there's nothing left. I was never a fan of Claire Bear, though. Whatever that actress's name, I forget her name. I think she played that character really, really bad. And I think even when she's good on that show, she's not that good. I think the show is good because of Zachary Quinto and because of Miles Libidou, whatever his name is, the dude that played Rocky Balboa's son in all the movies, and he's in a ton of shit. I think he's a good actor when he wants to be. Peter Petrelli there, and Nathan Petrelli, and Hiro Nakamura. I think all those characters made that season more than Claire Bear there. I think Claire Bear sucks, and I think the character, the way she performed that character sucked. And I think the character of Stormfront, I know you're in a different show, but this actress could have played Claire well. And she doesn't do the same thing, more so in season 1. But my point is, sort of like an innocent, character kind of thing can be played well in a much better show that requires more precision of reality in some level than Heroes did, which was Heroes is just, we're in Heroes, yay, oh my gosh. But, so I don't know what I'm saying exactly, but everything I hate about the Claire character, I like about Annie. I think Annie kills it, and I like how Butcher sort of welcomed Annie into the team during this season. I love her relationship with Huey. That final moment with the two of them when Huey's setting up his, turn at the end when he goes with the senator who is really the person blowing up everyone's head, when he joins her team at the end of the season. Right before that, Annie and him have a scene where he talks about not letting people walk over him anymore and all this sort of stuff. And she thinks he's breaking up with him. And it's a subtle little comedy, played for comedy a little bit, where she's like, okay, we can just be friends. And he turns to her and goes, I'm not stupid. We're fucking. I mean, I'm not stupid. And she's like, thank God. I love their relationship. I think they have excellent TV chemistry. And I don't know if he's been in anything else, but I do think there's good upside to Meg Ryan and, nepotism's a bitch. Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid's kid here, the guy, Huey there. I don't know the actor's name. Was it something Quaid? Is it Meg Quaid? Is that his name? Or is it, did they name him Randy? Is his name Randy Quaid? Could that be it? Is Dennis Ryan? Is that his name? Whatever his name is, he's good. And he definitely looks, how sometimes you see kids and they're like, that you look like a cross between your parents. He definitely looks like a cross between Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. It's like, there's like no two other people could be this kid's father. No two people could be the father. I am the father. No two people could be his parents. So I very much liked him. And he's another character that at some points in times, he's infuriating. At the beginning of this season, he is fucking infuriating. He gets them in a couple situations because his infuriating nature. But you feel it, and then when you stop and pause and really think about this season and think about both seasons and think about everything Huey's been through, that leads him to the point of the end of this season where he's at the senator's office that he doesn't know is our next season villain. Doesn't know that she's Head Popper MD. But he wants to be out of it. He's one too many times getting surrounded by people guts, and one too many times dealing with being called a cunt by Butcher. It's too much for him. And he's stepping out of it. So it's a believable thing with everything he went through. Let me catch up with the live motherfucking chat. Oh yes, and that's okay. Now that we're in spoilers, thank you, Shadow Fox. Stormfront got fucked up. Okay, they set her up all season as someone that is like, they make sure they set her up as a villain right away. They show you that she is friggin'. At first, they make you think she's just modern teenager, huge fan of social media kind of character, and then pretty much almost like jumping off a cliff, you find out that she is actually like a Nazi, not neo-Nazi, like Nazi, like was married to one of Hitler's main guys, and is one of those living forever, was like one of the first soups in the world. I forget. I'd have to go back and watch the episode specifically to figure out and listen to every specific point of information. But that's basically it. That Stormfront's been alive for 100 years or whatever it's been, or it hasn't been 100 years since 1940, but you know what I mean. Like that's been around forever, been alive for a long period of time, has some sort of regenerative thing going on, and is actually, trying to bring back that world. And that's where you're setting up in a couple situations where Homelander isn't the most fucked up person in the room. There's a scene, as I mentioned earlier, where Stormfront's talking to Homelander's kid, who, people that don't know from last season, Homelander's kid is Homelander and Butcher's wife's kid, who at one point in time in the season, Butcher finally finds his wife, and it's a really intense scene where he meets up with her, brings her to the woods. They fuck in the woods. They have like a really emotional kind of connection again. And then she's like, yep, my kid's a superhero or is a soup. And Butcher just gets this look on his face like, I'm going to kill your child. First chance I get, I will kill your child. And she reads it in him right away and is like, I'm not coming with you, asshole. And then when later in the season, Stormfront starts fucking Homelander, in a really, like, most fucked up sex scene I've seen since Team America, where they're maybe even more fucked up. But gotta see it. I can't even give it justice, but there's this ridiculously amazing sex scene between Stormfront and Homelander. But after they become a couple and they decide that they need to Neo the kid and have the kid be, the basket of hope on the horizon here. And they steal the kid from the mother. The mother runs to Butcher and is like, save my child, save my child. Butcher and the whole team, and she joins in too. She kicks some ass too. Join in and they get the kid back, and then, spoiler alert, she ends up dying because Stormfront basically is about to kill Butcher's wife, and the kid uses a giant Pikachu blast or something from his eyes, or uses the heat ray vision, which he's shown to be more powerful in this scene than Homelander, because Homelander was doing it for sex earlier, but I guess maybe more he could control it more. He goes full Cyclops on her and burns the fuck out of her, and also he was a few seconds too late. She's able to actually kill the mother right before that. And she makes Butcher promise that nothing will happen to the kid. So he sends the kid away because he's like, yeah, no fucking way. And I love how in the moment, like there's a standoff between Butcher and Homelander at the end of the season. And at first, Butcher's looking at this kid, looking at his now deceased wife's kid, and with fire in his eyes, like, I fucking hate you. And then the minute Homelander walks over there, it's like he gets into this protective point where he's like, actually, no, I'm protecting this fucking kid, you fucking cunt. And it's just, fuck. It's such a good scene. And the way when Butcher just sits there with no fear in front of Homelander, and Homelander's reaction to it when he just laughs. Again, that's one of those acting moments that could be played in a really comedic, awful way. But it's played so, I don't know if it's editing or just, again, the actor's performance. It is done in such a menacing yet hilarious way. And I think that could be a subtitle for all of the boys. Menacing but hilarious. It's incredible. But yes, Stormfront got fucked up. There's this big fight at the end with, I forget her name, the Frenchie's girl there, Kumiko, what the hell's her name? I forget her name. But she and Starlight are getting into this huge fight with Stormfront at the end. It basically breaks down to a fist fight. And then it looks like it's going in the other direction. And next thing you know, Maeve is there. And it's the three of them kicking the living piss out of Stormfront. And it's like, and they're even saying it, shut the fuck up, you Nazi bitch. They're fucking beating the shit out of her. And I don't mean in like a big, giant, glorified superhero fight way. No. I mentioned Office Space earlier for a reason. It's like what they're doing to the copy machines in the middle of Office Space. It's almost like that scene. It's almost framed and filmed in a way very similar to that, where the three characters are just literally beating the living shit out of Stormfront and screaming, "You slippery Nazi bitch, I am going to fuck you up." And it's done in this raw way. And the scene when Maeve just shows up and is just like, "Listen, you slippery," and I think that's her line as she comes in, "You slippery bitch," and she punches her. It's like, fuck. I felt that through my TV screen in a glorified, amazing way. I just got up, and that was the second moment where I just got up and went, fuck yeah. I was just screaming. It was so well done and so earned throughout the season. That's, I think, the biggest part of it. It was really earned. They built this moment up with how much hate they threw out there for Stormfront through it all. And then to lead it up to this point where you see these three characters that you all are rooting for in a different way. Annie, because of the way she lost the fight earlier to her. Same with Kumiko, or whatever her name is, that lost the fight as well. And it almost looks like she dies at one point, and then you remember she can regen. And then Maeve, who's been on this other storyline for most of the season, where they're forcing her to come out, and she's like, "I'm bisexual." Yeah, you're lesbian. It's fine. You're a lesbian. And they just like put this whole like thing in the press with her, and Storm and Homelander's fucking with her the whole time because he finds out about her relationship. And then within the relationship, her girlfriend finds out about the thing in the airplane last year, and she has to leave because she can't even deal looking at her, because even though it isn't her fault, she's still a part of all those people dying. And then you start to get that thing similar to Huey, when at moments we're the audience, we're in this universe, we think we're outside of it, right? And then occasionally you get moments where think we're a part of it, or I feel like I'm a part of it when you're watching a TV show. And then sometimes you get real characters that give you that real life perspective on the side of it. And that's what Maeve's, and Huey's done it a couple times throughout the series, but Maeve's girlfriend as well did that, where she's just like, "I can't deal with this. This is too much." And in a really, maybe the most heartbreaking scene, because I think anyone who's been through a breakup can relate to it, when someone's like, "Give me everything. I want your crazy. Come here. It's going to be okay. Let it out." And then you let out who you really are. And then they turn around and go, "Fuck you. I don't like that. I'm done." And you're like, "Wait, you told me to let out me." "Yeah, but it didn't mean I had to like it." It's like one of those fucked up things. And Maeve kind of deals with this, and it's done in more of a dramatic way. But I love how that was done. I love how A-Train kind of subtly picks up on things about Stormfront that no one else does, because she's just straight out vicious to him, being a Nazi and shit, and he's just like slowly putting it together. And then when he finally puts it together, he's like, "Fuck this," and he just steals all the information they need to like lambaste her, and he gives it to Annie and Hugh when they're in the car at one scene. I thought that was done extremely well as well. And I mentioned this earlier, and I'm going to get into the live motherfucking chat again in a second here, but I mentioned it earlier when I didn't want to speak of storylines or speak too much about spoilers, but I didn't love all of the deep Scientology storyline. I thought it was what it was. I feel like it was almost like a red herring for the head popper stuff to kind of set up something else that possibly could be responsible for the head popper instead of the senator, because it kind of almost gets told you early on in the first season, early on in the first couple of episodes, where you can kind of see it might be that the senator person. But anyways, I feel like it was set up as almost in the movie Return of the Joker, if anyone's a Batman Beyond fan. They create this secondary character that owns that is trying to fuck with Bruce Wayne a little bit, which it could also be the Joker, to kind of throw you off the scent that it might be Tim Drake. Spoiler alert for Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. But so I feel like in some ways shows they want to give you another option so you can kind of have some sort of, who is it? And I also think they gave you the option of the girl that escaped from the prison that also did the head popping stuff. So they gave you a couple of potentials of who it could be to kind of throw you off the scent of it. But the Scientology story, I think, was interesting, but not my favorite part of the season. But this is what I wanted to say. But because of the performances, because of the deep, because of that actor and the way he was playing that and the comedic aspect of it, even in the episode that was framed around doing his interviews for a potential potential wife for him, I thought was all extremely well done. I thought he is just a hilarious fucking character, and it throws up the obscurity and the craziness and the interestingness of an Aquaman character, but plus just everything that we built up with the Deep and everything he did last season with the Dolphin and all of that crap leading through all of this made that storyline very entertaining for me. Not because I cared about him getting back in, but then the final point where looks like he's going to get back in the 7 and he doesn't get back in the 7 and it's A-Train, I think is done really well. And I think A-Train is like one of the sneaky best characters this season, and his interactions with the Deep and seeing his perspective while he's in through all the Scientology stuff and thinking, yeah, I'll use it for my own benefit. And then when it doesn't benefit him, he's just out of there like a fucking bat out of hell. I fucking love it. And I think it works really, really well. Hey, gotta love a bit of Butcher. Butcher's amazing. And I can't say enough. I talked at nauseum earlier about it, but very rarely, and you see it sometimes, I'm not gonna say rarely, but it happens less often than not when you have characters and actors just mesh so fucking perfectly. Christopher Reeves playing Superman is one that just popped in my head right away and think about it. Like when you get somebody that is just that character and they're playing it in a way that it's just, I couldn't imagine anyone else playing that character. I mean, at times maybe I look at him and I think Brad Pitt for some reason could maybe play it too, but I don't know if I'm just pulling that out my asshole because I'm thinking of Snatched or what is that? Is that what that movie is? But realistically speaking, I just think this is the perfect synergy of actor and character. And I think he is eating the shit out of scenery in the best possible way. I love him. Hey, Tim F., great to see you. Great to see you, motherfucker. Homelander is one crazy... You are one ugly motherfucker. He is crazy. Jordy the Jedi, great to see you. Anthony Starr, he is the GOAT. He is great. MM and Frenchie are great as well. While starting the day with an old friend, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Lady Starfall. It's great to be out here. I haven't been able to get out here as much as possible as I'm settling into my new rhythm, but hopefully as time goes on, that will change more and more. I just need to find the places within my day that doing this fits into it. So just about finding those times and getting into a rhythm. And yes, I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to continue to talk about the show and continue to talk about a lot of other fucking stuff coming up in the future. Hello. Forest the Universe. Hello. Great to see everyone. I see spots. Forest in the Universe. I love the name change. I love it. It's screwing me up for a second here, but I love it. I love the universe. Peter Griffin, Lady Starfall. All of our good friends are in the live motherfucking chat. Have you been watching Raised by Wolves? Not yet, but it is on my list. It's probably, now that The Boys is over and I need another show, I definitely want to watch Raised by Wolves because I'm a huge fan of, Ragnar's on that, right? That's Travis Fimmel is on it. And I was a fan of Vikings, or I am a fan of Vikings, and specifically his performances. I think he's an underrated, talented actor that deserves a lot more attention than he gets. So I'm very eager to see him hopefully find another thing that mixes, because anything he's done since Vikings has just kind of been horseshit. Not from his performance, but from the movie being horseshit. I'm looking at you, Warcraft. The whole movie could have been the orcs shit. That was the only good stuff in that fucking movie. I don't know why I said that lightly, but it was. I kind of like the orc stuff in Warcraft, but Ragnar's shit sucked. He wasn't bad in it, but in the movie itself sucked. Here we go. Have not seen the last episode of The Boys. Can't wait to watch it. I had a feeling Head Popper wasn't the escaped test subject. I had a feeling too because they made it too obvious. The only thing that made me kind of think it could be her is because they set her up at the end by showing her wander off, but it made more sense. Oh my goodness, we got the amazing Eric Nolan. I mentioned this last time I was live, but a future guest on the show. We're going to have Eric on sooner rather than later to talk about his Game of Thrones experience, working on set in a lot of amazing situations. And I love me some Eric Nolan. I say it every time. If you haven't already, definitely check out Eric Nolan. Check out his music. Check out some of his performances, his popping up here and there. Once you see his face, you won't be able to unsee it in certain scenes of Game of Thrones. You'll be like, we'll point him out in the middle of the screen. You're like, that's Eric Nolan. But I can't wait to get Eric on the show. Eric's good people and one of my oldest YouTube friends and people to check out the show. So Eric, you are fucking awesome, and I will touch base with you soon so we can figure out a time to get you on. I'm just gonna keep saying it every time I'm on here to make sure you can't back out of it. So love you, buddy. It's pretty good. Starfall leaves you wanting more and more. Love the season. I wonder how long the show can keep teasing Homelander killing everyone, because it will get repetitive if they want to carry on. Rashid, that's a great point. I do feel like this show has diminishing returns at a certain point in time. I don't think it's going to be in season 3 necessarily, but it could be leading towards the end of season 3. I do think it needs to get to a point where they keep teasing the fact that Homelander's on edge to kill everybody or could go rogue, and then what the fuck do you do when Homelander's going rogue? Is there a kryptonite in this universe that has not been established yet? I don't know. I mean, they've set up the tree nut allergy with Black Noir, who seemed pretty fucking unstoppable in a certain moment. But will they create some sort of kryptonite for Homelander? Possibly. Comic book people that have read the comic or the graphic novels know the answer to that beyond me saying it. But, please don't spoil that. I wonder, because you make an excellent point, Rashid, that I don't know how long they can keep this thing up before it just becomes, Homelander's just a joke. Almost like the Turtles beating Shredder. Shredder's a formidable enemy at first, and you see how horribly dangerous he can be, but once you beat him once and you start beating him over and over again and realize he's just sort of a coward going, Krang, I gotta get back to Dimension X, he becomes kind of a gigantic fucking turd monkey that you can easily swat away. And I want to make sure that every time Homelander's in a situation like this, they can't just go to him, well, we'll put this shit in the press and you want everyone to like you. There needs to be a point where Homelander's like, fuck this, I don't care about anyone liking me anymore. Again, to mention the DC animated universe, the greatest DC expression ever. No, not the DC, not the DCAU or the EU, the DCAU, Bruce Timm's universe. In the Justice Lords episode, when Superman in a moment makes the decision that the world is, and it's a different sort of thing. This Superman is not Homelander. Justice Lord Superman is not quite Homelander, but he's pretty fucked up. And he didn't like what the president was doing, just because I don't want to spoil who the president is. Ran into the president's office. It was Lex Luthor. And ultimately lobotomized the president, or destroyed him. He didn't lobotomize him. He melted him with his X-ray vision and took over, and basically the Justice Lords took over the world and turned the world into Demolition Man, essentially, and the Three Seashells world, where everything's all happy and you're not allowed to swear and everyone's nice to each other, and the Joker is hi Batman, let me help you, because he's lobotomized and shit from Superman's X-ray vision. It's a fucked up couple of episodes, and if you haven't watched the Justice League cartoon, what the fuck you're waiting for? It's really well done. Batman animated series, Superman animated series, Justice League, Static Shock, Zeta Project, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Zeta, and Batman Beyond. All great shows and some of the best. And when I say best, I mean the most. They care about what happened before. They really cover each other's bases, especially when you get into Justice League and you see everything that happened in the Superman animated show and this Batman animated show kind of pay off in Justice League and Batman Beyond. So I know I'm going on a side, but that world is really, it's fleshed out a little bit with the Justice Lord. So I want to see a moment like that in Homelander where he just makes a fuck it decision and then goes completely rogue. And I mean, that could be the end of the series in general, like a moment where they need to finally figure out how we kill this fucker. But we'll see where it goes. Could the head popper blow up Homelander's head? Is his head too strong to blow up? I don't know. Is it going to be his son that has to be set up to kill him at some point in time? I'm going to be very eager to see, because I agree with what Rashid is saying. Loving the season, love season 1 as well, and I think they can get away with this a little bit longer, but at a certain point in time, it becomes comical if every time they can't, Homelander's just going to kind of be on edge and never quite go over that edge. You need to always feel like he could possibly explode. That's part of there's a few pillars of this show, but one of the main pillars is that, Rashid. You're 100% right. It's wondering and seeing, oh my God, he could go rogue at any point in time, and if he does, we're all fucked. They're all fucked. And I think that being out there needs to continue to be out there, but it also needs to not go too far. So I do think maybe this show has a 5-season ceiling in the sense of when the storyline would become played out too much. And I know there's already been talks, and I could be making this up. People in the chat, in the comment section can correct me on this. I believe there's already been talks of spin-off series. Like Amazon is like, oh my God, we're making money. Finally a show people want to watch on Amazon. And I know the Marvelous Miss Maisel people be, dude, what about us? What about this show? Yeah, I know there's other shows that are like good on Amazon. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, there's a handful of shows that are good on Amazon. The Tick was good. That's another show that was on Amazon. Good show. But this is the first show people are watching, or not watching, but that's creating some sort of extra buzz to make it be the show of the moment, or like the people that are into the show are into it and talking about it. I'm doing a fucking podcast. I'm not doing a podcast on the Marvelous Miss Maisel. It's a great show, visually beautiful. But I'm not going to freaking come out here and go, oh my God, this fucking amazing Miss Maisel. Great show. Same with The Tick, was really well done. I'm not going to come out here and do an hour talking about how amazing it was, or I liked Slippery Pete too, or Sneaky Pete, whatever show that was. I think Amazon has a handful of good shows, but this is the one that sort of, they're making their bones with this one, right? And I believe I read that there's already a spinoff in the works. So I don't know, and I forget which characters it's going with, but I do think the Homelander arc, so to speak, and whether this show can recreate itself and continuously be good, is yet to be determined. But the Homelander arc does have a ceiling, and I think it's about a five season ceiling. Oh, thank you, Lady Starfall, liking the background. Yes, I'm in a new apartment, or no, I wouldn't say new, but I'm in an apartment and got in upstairs out of my mom's basement. So this is the new studio. I still have a couple of adjustments here and there, but for the most part, I'm excited to have it. Have all of our silly elements. We got Worf here, so no one's screwing up. No one has to worry. I can't do a podcast without Worf in there. And I've got my amazing blanket from Nancy T protecting my couch. Ninja Turtles got the whole background, so I'm excited. I might change this room around because, not meaning to get too inside baseball here, this room is shaped like a hill. And right now I have my desk at the top of the hill. So if I let go of my chair right now, it's not doing it. This is not touching anything. I just fall backwards, and once I start drinking again on streams, that's not going to feel good. That's not going to be a good time. That's not going to be a good time. I do agree, Phil. If Homelander was being too nice to me, I'd be worried more than when he's an asshole. Yes! And I know I'm going back in time here with comments because I've been babbling too much about this. And when I don't come here often enough, you guys are, I've mentioned before, my therapists. I have to let all of this out. But yeah, Homelander, when Homelander's nice, it's scary. When he's just like, oh, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm shitting my pants. Literally, poop is popping up my pants. I have to watch that scene again. I just hope season 2 isn't too woke, honestly. It's entertainment. I don't think they're going to go in that direction. I think the show treasures itself on being edgy. So I think it will always have elements of a point that it wants to make, but I don't think it's going to go too far in that direction, Tim, if it was my impression. Inner Space, great movie with Dennis Quaid in Martin Short and Meg Ryan. Oh, yeah. Duh. I was like, why is Geordie the Jedi mentioning Inner Space just because of Dennis Quaid? Is that the movie they met on? Is that the movie that they banged on to create Huey? Is Huey a victim of Inner Space? I mean, yeah, he is, but no, that's cool. I like Inner Space. Underrated movie. Yeah, Huey, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Huey, the actor that plays Huey, is Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid's kid. I find the Quaid kid slightly annoying. Yes, he is. I think that's part of the point of the character, though. And I think especially in the first part of the season, I mentioned that before, he's very annoying. And because he's going through like almost a real post-traumatic stress disorder that you don't usually see in a television show like this, of what someone would really go through from going through all of this. And sometimes Huey, as much as Butcher is, Huey's probably the most selfish of them all. He makes selfish, stupid decisions that are risky for himself and others around him. I think Huey is supposed to be annoying to a certain extent, and I think the actor does a good job playing him in that way. But I agree with you, lady, There are times where I am intensely annoyed by Huey, where I'm viscerally affected by a decision he makes, where I'm like, the fuck, dude? Don't you know what you're up against? Like that kind of reaction where you're just like, fuck, dude, come on, Huey. Don't make a stupid mistake like this. And there's several moments of that, especially at the beginning of the season. He becomes less infuriating as the season goes on to me. Yeah, Huey was kind of lame this season. They decided to go way off his comics this season. Oh, Tim has read the comics. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think they probably went more like I don't know what's going on, but that's interesting to me that they went off the comics. As soon as I'm done, as soon as this series is done, it's one of those things that I don't want to read it because I don't want to have that comparison in my mind. I've had enough of that with The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones to last me a lifetime, and in the sense of like thinking about what something wasn't quite done right while I'm watching it. I would rather watch it. If I had read the comic before, all power to it. And again, if this was me maybe a year ago, I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm going to read every fucking word of that. I don't care. But right now, the way I'm in the ride, I almost want to be virgin eyes watching these episodes and look at it in a sense of like with nothing to compare it to. And then after the fact, when this is all done and I'm craving more boys, then I'm going to reach and grab the graphic novel stuff and see how that makes me feel. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier. If anyone wants to call and leave a voicemail, you can do that at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. As I mentioned, I'm sorry for not getting out here sooner for a boys podcast. I was really trying to get Joe Dirty Locks on here with me to discuss this season, but Joe has been really, really busy these days and tough to kind of coordinate with him. So me and him will figure it out at some point. We do have some walking disaster to talk about eventually soon. We will be talking about the final season of that, and we need to catch up on the end of this season. And I want to get Joe on for just a general What Does Joe Think podcast relatively soon. So if some of you guys out there are missing Mr. Dirty Locks, he will be back at some point in time. It's just with my new schedule and his new schedule, we're trying to coordinate, and we're like two passing boats in the wind at night. There's some expression here that I'm not quite getting, but Joe will be back. And I also have a fun new project coming up pretty soon in the works that I'm excited for, that's outside of the issues stuff, that should be fun, that will probably be out realistically before the beginning of the year. Hopefully a little bit before then, but around over the winter at some point. We still have some planning and plotting to do, so look forward to that. Huey was kind of lame. Nazi kitty. Stormfront was a dude and Homelander's real dad's in comics. Yeah, I know that. I heard that the Stormfront was a dude. A bit on the rough side. Battle Bing. The kid is basically Cyclops. Yeah, Tin's funny. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. He had sort of a Cyclops moment. Love me some Butcher. Carl Urban is awesome actor in my opinion. He really is. Like, I didn't realize how awesome he was until this performance because of how different each of his three biggest, for me anyways, most well-known performances are with his Lord of the Rings performance, and I'm blanking on his character's name in Lord of the Rings. Dr. McCoy, and now this. Kimiko the female, that's her name. Super name, not joking. Oh, okay. Kimiko the female. Not joking, that's her name. If anyone likes Frenchie, watch him in the first season of a show called Frada on Netflix. Really good. I do like him, and I feel like I've seen him in other things too. Yeah, man, they were doing the Nazi stomp at her. I love that season. For Jazz, there's very few things I enjoy more than watching a Nazi get stomped on the ground. And I don't feel like this is a hot take here, but I feel like the show gave me what I wanted. It's like tonight I want lasagna for dinner. I'm gonna make myself some lasagna. Like on my television, every couple of months I want to watch some Nazis get stomped, and there's no problems with that. But holy shit, it was just a fun ass scene to watch. And I think a lot of the hype package or the sexiness from this episode is coming through that scene, and that's fine by me. That's a well put together scene. And was this season as big and bam and boom at the end? No. But I feel like they knew what we wanted to see, and they let it through the whole season. And again, I don't know if it's the same sort of conclusion with him in the comic, but I love that moment. And I don't know if it was a little wink and nudge to the Marvel scene that was done in a much poorer way in Endgame. I don't know why exactly they filmed that and did it in that sense, but I loved every sense of that moment of watching those three girls beat the shit out of Stormland. It was well shot, well put together, and extremely well earned. So yes, Frenchie rocks. Frenchie does rock. And that's what I like about this season too. I mentioned this earlier, but I feel like last season was very much a lot of the characters other than Huey, Butcher, and Homelander, and Elizabeth Shue's character, and Starlight, were all sort of caricature kind of characters. I think the Deep got a little bit of development too, but I feel like in this season, every member of the boys got a depth episode. Frenchie's episode, when you get into his whole thing and why he's the way he is, I thought was really well done, and it made me feel for him. And that actor conveys an he expresses emotion extremely well. I don't know what I was trying to say. I was trying to say it in a different way. Excuse me, but he can really elicit emotions from his, like, a whole visceral body kind of thing. He reminds me a little bit of Aaron Paul like that. I don't know if that's a weird comparison, but Frenchie reminds me of Aaron Paul, the way he body acts, like Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad a little bit. I don't know. That's a weird analogous character comparison, but whenever I see Frenchie moving around, he reminds me of Jesse Pinkman a little bit. She snaps her neck right back in place. Monkey, while Phil is back, missed you, dude. I missed you, Monk Monty, and I miss all of you. And I can't lie. I sometimes, like I said, my life is all kinds of hectic busy at this moment right now, and trying to without getting too into it, trying to like put pennies together to get food every day, that kind of stretch right now. So it is so tough to kind of sometimes get out here as much as I want to, but I do hope to kind of settle into more of a rhythm. So I'm back. I'm sorry for extended hiatus after extended hiatus right now, but it's great to be able to talk to you guys, and I'm making it a point as time goes on to get out here more often as I'm sort of hopefully starting to figure out my rhythm a little bit more and starting to be able to eat. Huey, I wanted the female to get the kill shot in Stormfront for her brother. I wanted that as well, and I felt because that actress, I don't know if she's been in a lot of things, but she has such an expressiveness about her too. That's one of those things that a series like this could be cast poorly, and I enjoy each performance. I think each actor brings something so unique to the character, and I think the female, she is like a vicious, murderous fucking tool, but when she's playing sad too, it is so well fucking done. Like, when she's dealing with all this stuff with her brother and the intense multiple myriad of emotions that she is feeling, she plays each one of them on her fucking face. And when she's looking at Stormfront on the TV after what she did to her brother, I really wanted her to get the kill shot too. That being said, she still might. I don't know. Stormfront's not actually dead, right? Stormfront is just... like, did she die? Did we actually see Stormfront die? Or it's been 2 days since I watched the episode. Isn't she actually in a prison somewhere? Didn't they mention that she's captured? So she might get the chance in the future again too, if Stormfront finds a way to rise again, so to speak. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to seem cheesy, but she might still get that kill shot. But even so, I love that she got to be a part of the beatdown with Maeve in Starlight. Hugh is a bit weird looking. I don't know something about him. He is. I think it's because he has that smushed Meg Ryan face that works so well on her that doesn't work well on other people. Like there's some weird balance of Meg Ryan's face that young Meg Ryan, it just works on her. But you see it on someone else. You see it on Huey, and he's just got his body looks like it should have Dennis Quaid's face on it. So it just looks like he has a squished face. I don't know. I think the actor looks like he has a squished face for sure, if that makes sense. I watch all your recaps. Love you, bro. Oh, Thank you. Oh, it's the first time you've been able to watch live? Monk Monty, I'm gonna play a stupid song for you. I don't even have music. Do I have music for him? Play some fucking music, you fucking asshole. You're wasting time now. Boo this man. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still out of practice, and I wanted to play a song for Monk Monty for being his first time here. Welcome back, boo. I'm a stupid motherfucker, and I'm a stupid motherfucker. Ooh, ha, la 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 la. Homelander peeks the milk off the nipple blue. Something, Homelander drinks the milk off the nipple. Sorry, I know that wasn't funny. I'm out of song practice, but it is awesome to have you here. And hopefully this won't be the first and only time you can check out the podcast as I pick my nose. Is there any way to scratch your nose? Like scratching, not picking, to make it not look like you're doing something disgusting? I don't know. But it's great to have you here live. I hope this isn't the only time you're able to join us live. That's part of the reason why I like doing it at odd times, like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, because sometimes, depending on where you are, what you're doing, it's, you can happen to find yourself in a live situation where my normal thing would be in the evening or late afternoon. So I do like podcasting in the morning, and it gives me a lot of piss and vinegar stuff, and I like waking up with you guys. So hopefully maybe I'll try to do more Sunday morning kind of stuff or weekend morning, because that is a sort of open block I have. And I'm finally back on Sunday. I feel like Sunday is officially one of our days. Usually Sunday evenings, but Sunday I feel like is my day in some ways. So I do feel comfortable being back out here on a Sunday. So, but yes, welcome here, Monk Monty. And I hope to see you here many, many times again in the future when we are live. But always leave a comment and always leave a thanks. I recognize your name, and it's great to see you out here. Thank you. Tim, maybe next time. Yeah, she'll get in there. Cheers. Lady Phil, I'm wondering about all these superpowered people who escaped the facility. Very good question and very good point that I'm wondering about them too. And I think I had thought for a long point in the season, and someone mentioned earlier, and I'm not sorry for not giving you credit, I think it might have been Tim, that with everything with thinking that it's not going to be the escaped convict that's the head popper, that it's going to be someone else. I do feel like you need to bring some of those characters, some of that situation back, because it was a good lead up. That could partly be how the next season starts, with Butcher and his new team rounding those folks up as they're dealing as a sort of soup task force, that their first order of business is to go out and capture the people that escaped from the mental institute. So you could see a first episode where Butcher and his crew come out with helmets protecting them from head blower uppers or something. So I do think you need to see those characters again. I had tended to think that they would come back into the storyline, maybe serve as a distraction for the 7 while the boys were trying to do their thing. Something to physically distract Homelander while Butcher was trying to get one over on him. I tended to think that they would have come back into the storyline, but I do think that they will at some point in time. At least I hope they do. Yeah, Tim, it was my least favorite storyline of the year as well. I didn't care for the deep one, as I was mentioning earlier. That being said, I like how it concluded with the Deep running out of there and talking shit. And what did he say at the end there, right before he walked out? He's like, I fucking hate you. Or he said something hilarious. I forget what he said, but I think what made any of the Deep storyline worth it was the Deep himself. I think the storyline itself was kind of shit, and it's kind of, I hate to say it like this, it's a story that's been told so much before, because, and I don't know who the first were to tell it. Am I going to give South Park the story for initially getting into the active bashing of Scientology? I feel like we've been in a place where, at least since the late 90s, early 2000s, ragging on Scientology is sort of a national pastime. And then to lead into, then you get all the whole Leah Remedy stuff last year, and the Inside Track and the documentary you had on HBO a couple years ago. The inside track ragging on Scientology and all of that universe, as much as I'm all for it, It's like kicking Nazis, ragging on Scientology. Like, get me on board. Like, can I join? Can I join the club that kicks Nazis and makes fun of Scientology? Because I'm in. I don't care. Call me a son of a bitch, whatever. Those are two things I can get behind. But I do feel like you're right in the sense that, or for me anyways, my reasoning for not enjoying that storyline is if there wasn't something real new and prime about it. It seemed like the same old, okay, so see, this is a comparison to Scientology. And I don't know if this is because that was part of the comic book and that was written at a time where ragging on something like Scientology was more cutting and they just kind of kept that storyline because why not kick it while it's down sort of thing. But I do feel like it wasn't as shocking or wasn't as high end commentary as it could have been because it's been done before so much. Simpsons did it, but it doesn't mean it can't be done well or different and unique, but I don't think it was done in a unique or different way. It was done in a very by the numbers way. And I get that when at the end of the season we see what's the outcome of that whole organization. But I do also agree that it was probably the least captivating aspect of the season for me anyways. And I know why for me, again, for the reason I just said, that I feel like it's almost in some ways old news to rag on Scientology in that way, unless you come up with something completely new and different way of doing it. In a sense, it was just, yep, they're taking everyone's money. You know, they're pushing people out, and when you disagree with the captain, you're thrown out and you're considered a toxic person. You know, and they used some of the buzz terms of it and stuff. But other than that, it was just sort of paint by the numbers with that kind of storyline. So I'm with you on that one. What made it interesting to me, again, is just the Deep's performance. I think that actor brings so much to every scene he's in that performance of the Deep that, and again, I interpret it as I was on fucking Gossip Girl. Now I'm on this show. I got to try really hard. I don't want to end up back in teen drama. Like, that's what I read from the actor's face when he's performing. But I don't know if it's that pronounced, but that's the vibe I get. So yeah, Tim, it was very lame. Needs more. Tim F. Thank you for mentioning Love Sausage, because I probably would have ended this podcast and blocked that out of my memory. That whole scene, again, little scenes like that and the way that they do them, it was like, that wasn't a hand. There's a character called Love Sausage that superhero power is a gigantic dick, and which I assume is a comic character. That seems too biting to be just coming up from a TV show. And it like starts choking one of our characters out, and then they realize what it is after the fact. It's just a great scene, well done, and it's just one of those kind of funny moments I just love. Deep kind of sucked, true. Funny moments. Raised by Wolves is badass. I definitely can't wait to watch that show. Raised by Wolves is an HBO show? Question mark. I'm saying question mark, and I was going to say LOL and exclamation mark. You know why? Because anyone that talks to me privately, and some of you out there might be people that I've talked to in messages, I only talk via speech to text because my hands are so big and clunky from playing too many drum solos when we get super chat donations. No, playing too many blah, 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 in video games that I can't type on a cell phone. Like, I just can't do it. I'm so old school that I feel like I still want a slide phone or a flip phone or some shit like that. So I can, not a flip phone, because the flip phone, then you have to do 1, 2, 3 for each letter. But you know, the slide quartery keyboards and stuff like that. Like, I could be pretty good on that. But if you get me on a touch screen, I'm too sticky. I break up too much weed with my hands. My fingers are all sticky. I eat too much pasta and I have the oily skin. Like, when I'm trying to type on a cell phone, it just doesn't happen. I can't do the slide thing, you know, when you slide to your letters. Like, it's too much for me. It's like counting change. Like when you count backwards, I just can't do it. No matter how many times I fucking try, dude. Wait, well, shit, I gotta play some music. I gotta drink some water. Music time. Sorry, I couldn't help but do the Homelander milk thing there. Sorry, people, for doing that. You all never have sex again from looking at me like that. No, but anyways, yes, he is. If you see all the rumors of him being cast out of the house, yes, he is. You've seen all the rumors of him being cast. Oh, fuck yes. Sorry, Eric Nolan's right there. I'm going back in time, so I have heard rumors of that. The actor that plays Ragnar, Travis Fimmel, I have wished forever for him to get on another big show, you know, and Raised by Wolves is awesome. I haven't watched it yet, but it's great to see him on that show. I would 100% love to see him cast in the House of the Dragon series for Game of Thrones. I think with the right hair, you just have to do a little something with his hair. He would be an incredibly well put together. He would play a Targaryen extremely well. I would love to have them. Sorry. And I also in the future want to see him and Jax Teller in a movie together. That's the other thing. I want him to play adult or Jax Teller's dad, JT, in something. But because I just think he has. I keep trying to think of things to put him in, and I think as a Targaryen in that particular world, I think he would do an exceptional job in that because I think he does well in that kind of universe. I know Vikings is a historical fantasy, but in a fantasy genre kind of universe. Because again, to talk about Warcraft, I think he wasn't shit in Warcraft. He gave an excellent performance with what he had to do. I think the stuff that he had to do in Warcraft was kind of horseshit. So the thought of him playing a Targaryen, I have read that, Eric, and that excites me a lot. I would love to see him on something as big as a Game of Thrones kind of show and seeing a lot of people catch up with how awesome he is and then go back and catch up on watching him on Vikings, which I think if we're thinking of individual actors, single performances in one role, I can't think of many other people. I was mentioning Homelander earlier about an actor playing a certain character and just being that character. I think Travis Fimmel amazingly does that with Ragnar. And I think as much as I love the show still, because I think Bjorn is excellent on it, Uba, I even like Ivar more than I know some people that have done reviews on here. I enjoy each of the performances. But even within all of that and all of those amazing performances that we get in Vikings since he left, his cloud is missing so much from that show because of how much he brought to it. And I think the show is still good, but his synergy with the character of Ragnar brought it up even an extra edge for me in the way that show was just next level while he was on it. And I think that's a credit to his charisma that could come through in other characters if they're written and put together right. And so seeing the potential of him in a Game of Thrones series really fucking excites me, Eric. So please tell me those rumors are fucking true. The end of Raised by Wolves ruined the rest of the season for me. Imagine Ragnar the Targaryen. Exactly, Eric. Ragnar the Targaryen is an exciting fucking thought. Actually, I will comment about his performance after you watch the show. Phil, how I missed your beautiful face. Claudio, you're making me blush. Love you, buddy. Great to see you. Space Ragnar would be great too. Travis Fimmel is kind of a letdown in Raised by Wolves. Expected more from him, says Tim. Eric Nolan, lady says, don't think that will happen. I believe they already got someone. Boo! Top Shelf Fandom. Great to see Justin in the live motherfucking chat. Yes, Justin. It's good to be out here and get your ass to Mars, Quaid. So it's good to be out here. Good to see you, Justin. Oldest says in years. I'm not. I know. I didn't mean Eric. You're younger than me. You're like what, 10 years younger than me or something like that. 20 years younger than me. No, I meant oldest as in one of the first people that commented or replied to shows I did. One of the longest. I shouldn't say oldest. That was a poor choice of words by me. I'm still out of practice. One of my longest viewers and interactive, awesome relationships I've had based around YouTube is with Mr. Eric Nolan. I want to see Mr. Edgar's powers before it jumps to proverbial. I think this show has 4 seasons in it. Claudio, it's funny you say that. I said 5, but 4 could be it too. I think they could potentially do next season's going to be just as good and kind of raise the stakes again. And then I view season 5 will probably be a great conclusive season and maybe even end it slightly shorter season than they did. But I don't know. Because someone was saying this earlier, and I'm sorry if I'm not giving you credit because I can't remember your name because you were a new voice in here. So welcome to the party, pal. But someone was saying earlier that they can only stretch out this Ragnar. Wait, are we talking about Ragnar and Game of Thrones again? They can only stretch out this Homelander's going to kill everybody kind of vibe so long before it becomes comical, not in the best way. So what they need to do is they need to kind of have this story reach ahead at its proper place. And I will say the same thing something like Breaking Bad, for instance. You know, they knew the perfect time to say, now's the time to end this. Now we need to do the Hank versus Walt season. Now this needs to happen. I think a show knowing the right time to go out is just as important as a show being great, you know? Shows can overstay their welcome, and it can in some ways, Walking Dead. You know, if you know what I'm trying to say. I hope The Boys next season sticks more to the comic arcs. They are great. Lady says, I'm waiting for Homelander's kid storyline. He hates his father, and I would love to see the showdown between the two of them. I've seen that. Guy from Hot Fuzz also is Friday amazing. I've seen Frenchie. I was like, wait a minute, I know him. Season 3, Homelander goes full bananas and tries to take down the world. Season 4 takes him down. That's all you need. Claudio, I'm with you on that one. Eric, no, and I completely disagree with you when it comes to DCEU. Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman are amazing. Everything else is lackluster. I think Man of Steel is arguably a good movie and well put together. I think Batman vs. Superman has some good scenes. I think Wonder Woman's a good movie too, and I also think, what else is in the DC? I was entertained by Aquaman. I think the worst of them is Justice League and Green Lantern, if that counts. But I think, I don't think they're horrible movies. I think I'm just so Kool-Aid drinking of the DCAU, of the animated universe, that it's hard for me to look at versions of these characters without making comparison to Bruce Timm and the universe he created. So I almost feel like I'm biased towards it because of how into those universes I was. The Batman animated, Superman animated, Justice League, I mention it all the time. Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Zeta. Like those shows, I got so into it. So to see anything but what I consider more of a pulpy, over-the-top version of those, it's tough for me to get into them. So I mean to talk about it more personally, but I hear what you're saying. I think Man of Steel, it could be arguably a good movie. It's structured in an interestingly framed way. I think it's one of Zach's best movies put together and has the least of him in it. I think the performance of General Zod, all being not as charismatically memorable as Terrence Stamp, does fill you with menace. And I like the fact that they took some of the carnage that happened in Men of Steel, which is one of my biggest problems with it. That the fact that it seemed everyone was just like, oh, okay, half the city's killed. All these people died. Who gives a shit? They actually took that and ran with it in a future title. They took with it and ran with it that's what inspires Batman to want to kill Superman. So I like that they did that with the storyline. For me, it comes down to direction and casting and some of the ways that they chose to dictate this. But I think some of the points could have ended up being decent. So I don't want to shit on it so much in that way, Jez, in the sense to say no one can enjoy these shitty movies. I have my own personal biases to them. I just can't wait till I have time to watch a series I know I'm going to love. I think you're going to enjoy this series, Justin. I don't want to overhype it too much, but I do think it's good sort of just sit down, watch the show and relax your brain, kind of fun and kind of ride the roller coaster. It's got some kind of satirical and kind of deeper kind of shit going on that you could read into, but you can also watch it on a very visceral level and be automatically entertained by it. And I think that's what's great about The Boys. And I think that's what's great about entertainment too. I think when something can simultaneously entertain and make you think, that's the key point. I do enjoy shows that make you think, and I enjoy shows that you can watch popcorn-wise that don't make you think and you can just entertain. But when a show can synergize both those things together and dictate it or slap it right across your fucking face with a cucumber, I think it's good. I like it. So Tim, I was just about to say this earlier, and I'm going to paraphrase what Tim said in the live chat. I have heard this too. This series they've been trying to make this series for a long time. It goes as far back to the point where Simon Pegg was originally supposed to play the Huey character, but he aged out of it. So he ended up playing Huey's father in the show. But I did read that somewhere, that in the original production of this, it was originally supposed to be Simon Pegg playing Huey. But he was too old by the time they made it. Absolutely. Hey, what about us? Also exposing Vought and spitting it. It's going to be back to square one. Expanse is the best show on Amazon. Oh, Tim F. I know I'm about to get fucking lambasted here as a Star Trek fan. I've not watched The Expanse yet, but so many people whose television, yourself included, Tim, a couple of other people I know through, Game of Thrones community streamers and stuff, love The Expanse and say nothing but amazing things about it. People whose television opinions I treasure a lot say The Expanse is amazing. So that's one of those shows, similar to what Justin said a second ago. It's one of those shows I'm licking my lips and I know I'm going to like whenever I watch it, but I just haven't watched it yet because I'm like saving it for a rainy day or saving it for a sick day. We're all going to have time where we're sick in a bed for a few months, or a few weeks or something. It's going to happen to me again. I'm a survivor. It's going to happen to me again sometime. And I'm going to need time, just like I did before, to sit down and watch some show and binge watch it. And I like to save myself a couple of shows to watch and binge watch. And The Expanse is on that list of shows that I can't wait to binge watch. I love going back in time to things I said like 15, 20 minutes ago. And to respond to them in the chat like millions of years later. It's like, what were you talking about? That is very true and amazing. Can't wait for this next season of Vikings, Lady Starfall. I'm excited for this next season of Vikings as well, to this final season. I do need to catch up, but I'm excited to talk about the final season of Vikings, and I'm excited to talk about the final season of The Walking Fucking Disaster. I'm eager to see how they change it, even though they have deballed some of it by saying they're doing a spin-off series with Carol and Daryl, and the other brother Daryl, and my other brother Daryl. So, I don't know. Two of the main characters aren't going to die. But whatever, maybe they could surprise us or something, or maybe this is all just smoke and mirrors. But I am eager to see how both those shows that have been huge parts of the channel here in what I do, see how both those series hit their landing. And also very excited for the spin-off series starring Eric Nolan on Netflix that's coming for Vikings. I can't wait to see Eric finally in his first starring role. I'm rooting for you, Eric. Dudes, I started watching Lovecraft County. It was surprisingly entertaining. I've heard one of my closest friends out here in everything, and I say it. I don't say this lightly. He said this about me. I don't say it lightly as well. Tony motherfucking Teflon, one of my closest friends in all of this world, does amazing reviews of Lovecraft County. And if you haven't watched it, I believe he will be on tonight if the series is still on. Definitely check out Teflon TV, subscribe to Tony, and watch some of the best coverage you're going to get for that show out there. And a couple of other people I know, I think, cover that show too. I might be missing them. But if you do cover it, feel free to share your link in the comment section. But Tony does the best Lovecraft, and he's the one that told me initially about that show. That's another show I can't wait to watch. That's on the list of shows to watch. I've heard good things about it. It's a Phil stream. The boys are back in town. Iron Throne in the live motherfucking chat constantly, even in my break. 100% can't give you enough love for the support you give someone like me. More than ever, as I've mentioned this before, when you say fuck every other word like me, and my main forum out here is YouTube to do my podcast. The best way and the only way that new people can find me and find us here is through people like Ian and other people. Justin's done it as well. I've seen Justin out there, and so many of you out there in the live motherfucking chat. I'm only not naming you because I want you to feel left out, but other creators and other people that help spread the word about what I do. It's a very specific little niche, so I appreciate all the people that point folks in this direction. And Ian has always been amazing with the Issues program and myself, and spreading the word every time I go live, or even when I don't, to remind me to get your ass live sometimes, or share me in a post or a tweet. So let me finish licking the labias and balls of Iron right now, but I'm doing it. I'm on hands and knees, face all up in it. So thank you for being a sweetheart. It's the same second half. Oh, fine. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, great to see everyone in the live chat. I covered the announcement and the major characters of the Beach feature in Valhalla months ago. I need to do an update. I can't wait. Send me contact. His face is everything. It's okay. Yeah, everyone follow Eric Nolan on Instagram. Do it. Fucking do it. And Eric, you're not allowed to go on anyone else's show before mine. No, I'm kidding. Don't go on Justin's show for anything, motherfucker. Black Noir's identity was a huge reveal in the comics. There's no way they all can do it. Blah, 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 blah. We want Joe. We need Joe. Joe is supposed to be out here. Joe is very, very busy these days. Joe will be out here extremely soon. I'd love it. But yes, everyone follow Eric Nolan and listen to his beautiful voice. Eric has an extremely beautiful singing voice too. Not only is he been in some of your favorite shows, everybody, so make sure you follow Eric Nolan. He also has an extremely beautiful singing voice, so make sure you check out his music. Oh my God, Dread was amazing. I'm just scrolling down here to the bottom now. Nice to see you, Lady Starfall. Cooking dinner. Tony has the best. Focus on it. Tony Teflon, here we go, pre-show. Oh, Tony's doing a pre-show and after tonight. So yes, definitely subscribe to Teflon TV for all that fucking shit. It's a Christmas miracle, season 5. The Expanse season 5 is back. Oh, we got Bernie in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see all of you motherfuckers. Lady Starfall, great to see you, and thank you for tuning in this afternoon. I'm going to start to wrap things up here. Again, I meant to come out here for a half an hour, and we're at an hour and a half now. That is good stuff. I didn't say it at the beginning, but my intention was to come out here for a half an hour right at the beginning and babble to you guys. But it is good to be here, out here and babble to you guys and shit talk a little bit about this season of The Boys. I love The Boys this season. If you haven't watched it and you haven't caught up on it yet, definitely do. I think this season continues where season 1 left off in a very positive, amazing way. And I love the direction which they're going with this show. I do think it does have a ceiling, as a couple people have pointed out. And I hope leading into this next season, they keep the edge up. And I do think that they will. I think they're going to want to give people have been very reactive in a positive way to what they've gotten through 2 seasons. I don't see them easing that up a little bit. Hopefully they will ease more into the comics, have a lot more fun, and kick some motherfuckers in the motherfucking head. So, I love it. I love it. I love all you guys in the live motherfucking chat. Corey Mitchell. Holy shit. I was about to stop this show, but Corey fucking Mitchell's in the live motherfucking chat. I will not be a stranger. I will venture to be out here again before the end of the week, or at minimum next weekend on Saturday or Sunday. I am going to try to pressure Joe this week again to try to get him on a podcast, and we'll see about that. We'll see if we can get Joe, and if not, I will be back for another Babble Fest next weekend. We've got a lot more fun stuff coming up in the future here, a lot more TV shows, a lot more conclusions. Couple of interviews, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to have Eric on very soon to discuss some fun stuff, and also got a new fun project coming up in the future. So all of you guys in the live motherfucking chat, thank you so much for joining. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a motherfucking friend. Spread the word. You guys have been amazing today. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this recap of The Boys. If you have any comments or questions you can leave them in the comment section of this video. You can also call on in at 781-990-8509. That's right. Phyllis, if you're happening to watch this, I see your comments. I see your questions in the voicemail line. I'm going to save them because I know they're Sopranos related. Big Daddy Matt and I will be on the air again soon to do some Sopranos podcasts. He moved. We're trying to coordinate. Our next Sopranos episode will be Season 2, Episode 9 when that comes. Probably sometime in the next month. I will definitely not be a stranger. I can't wait for your review of COVID Christmas coming to Lifetime. If you haven't already, like away, subscribe away. Make sure you subscribe to Justin Thomas, who was here earlier. Make sure you follow Eric Nolan on Instagram. And I mentioned Tony Teflon earlier as well. Teflon TV for Lovecraft County. If you're into that stuff, he'll be doing a pre-show and a post-show. Good to see you, Gecko. Good to see you, Top Shelf. Good to see all of you guys. Love it. Talk to you guys next time. Peace. Oh wait, I gotta end the stream. How do you end a stream? What's going on? What do I do? I don't know. It's been so long. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, I'm live. Oh my God, I'm so out of control. I don't know what to do.